Welcome to Discovering. Tonight, we're going out for a fish fry. And the scouts are ready to hit the water with their newly renovated sailboat. Sit back and relax. It's Monday night and time for Discovering.
The secret streams that flow beneath the cliffs of colored stone. Forest thick and healthy with birch and pine and oak. Surrounded by the greatest lakes this world has ever known. The black bear's awesome presence as he roams the hills and fields. Call of the timber wolf, the loon's lonesome trill. The eagle soaring high above, the trout lies deep and still. These are what I treasure, the only way I measure feelings that I have for this fine land. There is so much to discover when you're a long-time lover of northern Michigan.
We decided that the evening's dinner was going to be a fish fry. And we all know that fresh fish is the best, so we decided we'd do some camping and catch dinner ourselves. So we hooked up the Yellowstone, grabbed some fish breading, a can of beans, threw some beer in the cooler, and headed out. We didn't really have a plan, so we decided to stop at the local restaurant to have some breakfast and further contemplate our possibilities. We didn't really come up with a destination, but decided we'd start with a direction. If our bill ended in an odd number, we'd head west. An even number, we'd go east. West it is. As we cruised along, we concluded that we shouldn't really need to go far to catch dinner. Something in the crappie, bluegill, or perch department sounded tasty, and easy enough to make happen. Bluegills, and close by, narrowed it down to Stromberg Park on Hardwood Flooding near Hardwood. After setting up camp, which doesn't take long with this setup, we headed for the water with all the optimism necessary to complete our mission. We'd catch a few bluegills or crappies for dinner and spend the rest of the day just fishing for fun. It wasn't long and we were on the bluegills. A little small, but where there's small ones, there should be big ones, right? Wrong. Aside from one mediocre sunfish, we couldn't seem to surpass the miniature mark. The 2.5-inch bluegills were relentless. Worm eaters. But hey, we still had time. We just needed to find the spot. We just needed a few fish to make our dinner complete.
It ain't dinner, I can tell you that.
The weather was great. Nothing but blue skies. But that was going to change. The ominous sound of thunder in the background meant that Carl was right again, and rain was on its way. Each cast became more important. I could feel our fish fry dwindling away. In my head, the picture of a plate full of tasty breaded fish with a side of fries and beans was slipping away. Soon it was obvious that our fish fry was a goner. As we headed for shore, my vision of fried fish gave way to grilled hot dogs. As anyone who makes their living in the outdoors will attest, rain is just part of it. If we only went out on the sunny days, we'd spend a lot of time at home. But when you're in a canoe powered by a couple of paddles, you don't really want to get caught on the wrong side of the lake. And when your headquarters is an 11-foot camper without a canopy, well, rain sucks. So our fishing was cut short, which meant no fish dinner tonight. This also meant that our trip would now have to include another day. There's the silver lining. Eventually the rain did quit, at least for a while, which gave us a chance to relax by the fire and put together a plan for the following day. Lo and behold, my buddy Jim called. He and some friends were heading out in the morning for some walleye fishing on Portage Lake. Now, Portage Lake is a long way to go for groceries, but with a hesitant guarantee from Jim that I'd be eating walleye for dinner, I couldn't resist. Since Jim already had a boat full and I'd be heading out in the morning before the birds started to sing, Patty decided she'd relax at the campsite and wait for me to bring home the bacon. So, at the crack of way too early, I headed for Chassel. Portage Lake cuts across the Keweenaw Peninsula with access to Lake Superior on both ends. I'm here to film, I'm here to fish, but most of all, I'm here to catch dinner.
Yeah, we're out here today with my buddies Kim and Howard. Howard from the Shady Game Farm.
Yes.
And we've been lifelong buddies for hunting and fishing together. Not chartering yet, so we're just out fun fishing. So we're gonna see what we can do. We had a real nice day, I don't even want to say that, the other day, but we'll see if we can find the fish that were here the other day.
Trolling this?
Trolling, yeah. Yeah, right through the nose. Massage it out. Poke it through. Take a little piece off, throw it in the water.
Portage Lake. It promises great fishing for pike, smallmouth,
Regularity.
perch, crappie, and of course, straight from my dinner menu, walleye.
So we're gonna run this on a board with like a number 3 split shot.
I could see it already. Bing bang, a couple of walleye, and I'd be back on the road, heading for a campfire and a beverage.
There! All right. I thought I had a bite. That on camera. We talk about being able to throw when a fish bites. Right here.
Now, after the previous day of not-so-lunker bluegills, that perch ain't looking too bad.
At least somebody catches a fish.
That's right. You ain't gonna believe it. You know what that is? White perch.
Baby whitefish.
Whitefish don't have fins like that. Oh God, boy,
Let me take it off.
it's got a real pronounced lateral line on it.
Wonder how that would taste.
Come on, Howard. You gotta catch all the fish. Yeah, I don't want to catch Oh, there is a perch. All right. Well, keep that one. Oh. That's big enough to keep. Oh. That'll go along with my little pike.
Okay, maybe a nice perch dinner would work.
Hey, way to go, Howard. Fill the box.
Now I was starting to get nervous. With my optimism at a low point, I was already trying to convince myself that tonight's hot dogs would be delicious. And then, there it was.
Slow, Howard. Go slow, please. I gotta get this in first. Keep coming. Just keep reeling slowly. Reel slowly.
Decent walleye. It's actually a walleye. It is a walleye.
Flip.
Hey! All right.
The next.
All visions of campfire hot dogs evaporated instantly. Catching fish is great, but I'll admit, all I could see was fillets.
Yeah, I'm taking my time. Like I said,
Lift. Lift. You got 2 lines. Lift.
hey, look at that baby. There's a walleye.
He had it T-bone on 2 hooks here. That's why he was coming in so hard.
I didn't see that.
You can only keep 1 over 23 inches. This is what you want. 3 of these and 2 big jigs.
You got a big
Tight line now, so keep your pen.
Oh, look at that baby. Nice.
It's another dinner.
There's another dinner. Nice one.
On the stern planer. It's still 20, it's 23. It's a cookie cutter.
Oh, we got another fish on here.
Yeah.
Another fish. The middle one.
Good time.
When he's coming out, I don't want him.
Back at themselves,
Hey, another pretty nice cedar. Nothing
yeah.
wrong with that one.
That one's a flicker minnow. Reel. Lift.
Oh, there we go. Whew. Beauty.
Take my fish, give me a hug.
Nobody else is taking it, hot shot.
I want to know what grabbed a hold of that fish.
The walleyes continued to bite. It proved to be a worthwhile trip. I'm not real picky when it comes to a fish fry, but fresh walleye is hard to beat. We eventually made it back to the dock, cleaned some fish, and I was on the road with the soon-to-be fish fry in my cooler. Before I knew it, I was back at the campsite and ready to cook. I'll shut up now and let you smell it and taste it for yourself. Well, it took more than we anticipated, but we got our fish fry. Through it all, the driving, lots of paddling, some tough fishing, a handful of snags, a pile of worms, and a bunch of rain, I certainly did my share of complaining. And Chassel may seem like a long way to go for this, but it didn't go for that. I went for this. In the end, we were eating fish. And we were eating it in the woods, by a campfire. And yes, that fish fry tasted as good as it looked. We got to spend a sunny afternoon on a gorgeous lake. I got to do some walleye fishing. Spend some time around the campfire. And we got to spend some precious time camping. I was at the harbor in Escanaba where Scouts Troop 411 were showing off their newly renovated sailboat.
This 23-foot Irwin was the property of Steve Soper, a friend of mine, and he used it since 2014 and said, you know, you think the Boy Scouts would like to have a boat? And I said, absolutely. So in the process, we picked up the boat. It did need quite a bit of work. The boys helped sand it down, clean it, kind of get it back into shape, and we painted it. And here we are today with a boat that I think they'll be able to use for the next several years without any trouble.
We had to sand down the side to get ready for a fresh coat of paint. Inside, we needed new cushions. We had to take the old toilet out. We still don't have the new toilet yet, but that'll be something else that we'll put in. The bilge pump, we had to put a new one of those on. We had to work on all of the cables, get everything all strung through the right places, had to get the sails ready. Came with extra sails, so we sold those to help pay for cost of the paint and all that kind of stuff. We have a 9.9 motor. The mast goes up in that bracket right up there, which we'll use the crane for to get it up. Coming down below, we have a table, seating, bed there, sink, not much other than that, storage. Back here, we have a bed, and right over there is where the toilet will go, and that's where we pulled the old one out of. And just more storage back there. All under there is just open space, electrical stuff, and batteries back in there. That's about it. Pretty simplistic.
Well, a few weeks ago, Mr. Whirlpool texted me, you want to come down and help on the boat? So I'm like, yeah, sure. So I went down, first one down there, he handed me some sandpaper and just started going at it for about an hour and a half or something like that, and got that part done. I did most of the starboard side and a little bit of the back, and got that part done. I did a lot of cleaning on the top, and then the rest is what everyone else did.
Pretty fun. There's a couple times where you just run out of wind and you're sitting there for a second, and you're really worried, are you just going to sit there all day, or are you going to actually get back out there? And then there are a couple times where you're sailing and there's so much wind that you're leaning over like this, and you're thinking you're going to fall right in the water.
And it's a really cool experience for these guys because they're trying something that they normally don't get to do, and hopefully have a lifelong experience with it. I know nothing about sailing, so I'm hoping that Jim Hansen does not abandon me. But the kids are starting to get pretty good at it. So they're out there by themselves right now, so hopefully we won't hit a dock. We'll see what happens. They are working on a sailing merit badge. Merit badges are advancement that they can earn based on different interests, and sailing is certainly one of them. And that's the idea here, is to give them an interest in sailing or something new. And I'm thinking the guys are going to have a lot of fun with it. We got the boat just a few weeks ago, so we sanded the entire bottom, painted it, a nice beautiful red waterline on there, and then the hull as well. They're learning a lot about what the different lines do, how to tie the knots, which is always very important. They are learning what all the different parts are, starboard, port, so it's kind of a neat experience for them.
While we were in the process of trying to find a boat, we actually ended up doing about 3 months of instructions at the Boy Scout meetings. And then when I put our bigger 36-footer in the water, we started taking groups of 6 out once a week, a group at 12, 2, and 4, and kind of running them through the basics of what we talked about all winter long. Talking about sailing and sailing are two different things. And it was interesting, the first time we had the groups on board the boat, it was like a whole different philosophy in terms of sailing. They really took to the water, so to speak.
It's fun when you know how to do it and you're not breaking the sail or like having it tip. It's pretty fun when you get the hang of it.
Well, that's it for this week. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next week right here on Upper Michigan's very own Discovering.